Hey y'all. Hey. Let me make sure my mic. Yep, Miss Mike is on. How y'all doing? Listen, I'm not even gonna waste your time. I'm not gonna hold y'all too long. I am really excited. First and foremost, welcome. I am your host, Melissa Berrien of Real Talk with Melissa Berrien. And today, part of our Real Talk, I'm going to be doing a reaction. And shout out to those of you that found me through my reaction videos. Yes, I'm going down memory lane because that's one of the things that I like to do. And more importantly, I did not know that Kanye had a documentary. I don't know how I missed the trailer release. I don't know how I missed any of that. So for those of you that were up on it, listen, I had no clue. So I was sitting here and I was getting my going through my research, trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to talk about today? And I was like, okay, I can talk about this, I can talk about that. Ukraine, everybody's going crazy, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put the brakes on it because I saw that Kanye's documentary was released. And I was like, okay. And I had already wanted to do a Big Brother reaction. So I'm going to be talking about both of those. So hang on. I haven't really decided if I'm going to do Big Brother first or Kanye first. I think I kind of want to do Kanye first. I think I'll probably do Kanye first. Yeah. But yeah, I had no clue, no idea. So that gives me a different spin on all the foolishness and mayhem that he's been going through all week. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that for a second. Shout out to those of you that are in the chat. Just me, Ronnie. Hey. He said, I'm excited to be catching a live episode. I haven't caught a live episode since Janet. Oh my goodness. And that was a couple of weeks ago. So welcome, Ronnie. Thank you for tuning in. Yes. For those of you that are new to my channel, I typically go live Monday, Thursday, and Friday, unless, as I always say, something jumps off. If something jumps off, Melissa's on live and she's breaking the news. But for the most part, I am, what did I say? Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at this specific time. So anyway, so that's that. Welcome, Talea Bauer. I will be sending you. It's funny that you're here, Talea. Finally get to see you live. Listen, I gotta send you something. I'm gonna text you later. Because I have a proposal for you. Yeah, so I'll text you later. But welcome. It's your first time here. Welcome. And this is not my typical show, like I said. I normally do all kind of other stuff. But today, let's jump right into it. Again, I had no clue Kanye had a documentary series going on. I was scrolling, doing my research like I normally do, making my agenda for today. And then I was like, wait a minute, is this why? Hey, Velma, we're going to get into Big Brother, but let's get into Little Brother Kanye for a second. So I was like, so as I was sitting there, I'm watching the show, the documentary, which y'all, listen, y'all know I give him a hard time. You know I give him a hard time. But I got to tell you, it was good. Point blank, period. It was good. I'm going to tell you the good about it. I'm going to tell you the bad about it as far as what we're seeing with Kanye now. Unless you've been living under a rock and you're like, well, Melissa, what you talking about? Like, what has Kanye been up to? Go back and catch the previous videos. Go back and catch the previous lives because bruh man was cutting up. Now, let's get into this documentary. Again, the documentary is called, I don't want to mess it up because it's a weird spelling. It's just weird. It's called Jeen-yuhs, a play on words. It's not spelled Genius. No, it's Jeen-yuhs. And just as a caveat, a shout out, I have not seen anybody else's reaction. I don't know how anybody else is reacting. I literally just got finished watching it maybe 15, 20 minutes ago. So y'all know when it's serious, I come with my notes and I have my notes. So let's jump right in it. So it's a Netflix series. So if you don't have Netflix, you can't go watch it. But number one, point blank period, I'm not going to hold you, go watch it. And I'm going to tell you why you need to watch it. Again, go catch the different videos that I talked about Kanye and what he's going through now. Point blank, the video is shot with raw footage. The documentary, is shot with raw footage from his friend. I'm gonna get in the comments in a second. His friend Coody, Coodi. He's someone that knew Kanye from Chicago. So the footage is raw, it's old, It's young Kanye. Listen, let me tell you, I even had some bars. I said we see braces Kanye, we see retainer Kanye, we see. Listen, it really was a good thing. Now, I'm not a Kanye fan, but I wanted to watch it because, again, like I said, these past couple of weeks, I've been giving Kanye the business. But I'm with you when you're right. So anyway, it was raw footage, a lot of raw footage from this Cudi friend. And so let me tell you the relationship. So if you don't want spoilers, I'm not going to spoil it. I ain't going to spoil it. So they were just boys from the hood, good friends in Chicago. And it seems like, Kanye has been trying to make it big from when he was 6, they said. Kanye has always had visions of grandiose and not in a sick and twisted way, kind of like how we would interpret him now. But Kanye always knew he was destined for greatness. You know what I didn't know? Kanye started off, and this is where we see Kanye started off as a producer. I did not know that. Again, I'm not a fan of his. Yes, his mother's still living. We got footage, and I'm gonna get into the mother. I'm gonna get into the mother, y'all. I'm gonna get into the mother. This helped me see Kanye very differently. And the flip side of that is Kanye, I do believe, in my opinion, after watching old Kanye, old videos, I do think he's dealing with some mental health issues. Absolutely. Because there's a glimpse of the narcissism and all of that people are trying to say that he has, the arrogance. But there was such a humility in old Kanye. There was such a humbleness about him. There was such a gratitude about him. There was such a hunger of being in the room, but not really caring if he was the brightest in the room, if you understand what I mean. So we go to Chicago. They show their old apartment. They show his little table, little desktop when he was producing beats for people. That's how Kanye got started. I didn't know that. Kanye was making beats for people in the neighborhood. And as he was making beats, he was trying to get on. But nobody wanted Kanye. They wanted the beats. So listen, hang on tight because I have notes. It also showed me why he was so emotional about Jay-Z. It showed me how a lot of things that we see manifesting in Kanye now, Kanye has always been this way. And I'm not talking about the negative things. So let's go. We're in Chicago. They talk about his boys. And Kanye was saying things like, I know I'm going to make it. And you talking about being able to spit rhymes on the spot. Like they would ask him a question. Now, again, his friend Cudi, I'm going to say Cudi. I'm going to say Cudi, because it's COO. Cudi was following him around and he was like, hey, I want to document Kanye because I know he's going to be great. So here he is with this raw footage. Imagine back in the day with us with our VCR, our camcorders or whatever, following our friends around. Literally, that's what it is. That's type of footage it is. They're in the house. It's raw. It's not cute. It's not good lighting. It's not even something that they just know in their head one day Kanye is going to make it. Same thing with Cudi because he wanted to make it. So you have all these people in Chicago that felt like, you know what, East Coast rappers are getting popular and you have the battle between East and West. But what about us in the Midwest? So that's where Kanye comes in and this whole host of people, all his friends, and they're just trying to make it. And they were just trying to come up with each other. In the meantime, Kanye's selling beats. It got to the point, it was so funny because at one point Kanye, they just show all kind of footage, y'all, all kind of footage. So at one point Kanye was texting, right? And so they show him about to post the text. Again, they flash back and forth. So back in the day, no, he didn't text. And one thing that I wrote down, Kanye said, so the man said, no, Kanye, don't post that. He said, you don't think I need to post it? And he was laughing. And he said, you know what? Sometimes I feel like I need a translator. And so that let me know that at least at some time in his life, he does have people around him that says, yo, don't do that. Don't post that. Don't say that. But what I loved about it is I see why some of you think he's a genius, because again, as he's, being interviewed by his friend, just raw footage, y'all, on an iPhone, just playing around, just following Kanye, as Kanye knows I'm going to be big Kanye. Ask him a question, he don't just answer, but he answers spitting bars. So again, these are things that we've never seen before because this is raw footage, right? So good. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, so this is short hair Kanye, big braces in the mouth Kanye. And then we transform form, because at one point Kanye's like, so let me cross that out. So at one point, Kanye's like, you know what? I'm not going to make it here in Chicago. I need to move. Kanye moves to New York. So that's that connection. So as Kanye was coming up, 19-year-old Kanye, he would be in the industry parties and all over, and everybody knew. I mean, you got footage of Pharrell, hell, old videos. Beyonce was in some of it. And again, this is not footage that was planned out, like very raw, very, very raw footage of all kind of people. And they were just shouting out Kanye, like, this my man, but shouting him out as a producer. And as they are shouting him out and using his beats and everything, Kanye's still trying to press into going into the industry as a rapper. And that was very frustrating for him, because a lot of times Kanye was on a lot of these people's records, a lot of these people's labels, and he was like, listen, my name is Kanye West. Why are you calling me Kanye? But I'm getting ahead of myself. So as I saw, listen, Kanye always had the drive. Always felt like he was great. But I'm telling you, the one thing that I saw was humility, was humbleness. And even though his rap and his lyrics said differently, he still walked in such a great humbleness. So he's in New York. Cootie says, listen, Kanye's in New York. I know something is just telling me this dude is about to take off. Guess what? He moves to New York. So now more footage of them moving into New York. So we have two things happening. We have Jay-Z, Rock Nation, and all of them scooping up Kanye, using him for his beats and using him for that. But Kanye very much knowing his worth, very much telling people no at times, very much telling people, you gonna pay me. But at the same time, pursuing record labels. They show, his friend Cootie is in the building, and he's like, listen, I'm showing, he's showing all the rejections. So that gives a lot of us that are working towards dreams, working towards things, it lets you know that you look at the Kanye now, who's on a label, who's on his own label, doing his thing, but look at all the no's that he and his friends and everyone else got along the way. But in getting all the no's, he always knew he was going to be great, Kanye. In the middle of all of that, he's in New York. Rock Nation. Listen, they didn't have a problem using his beats. They didn't have a problem attaching themselves to him, and he made it perfectly clear. But what he was frustrated by is, I want to be signed. It is unheard of for a producer to turn rapper, and he even began to play with the game and be like, listen, I'm going to start giving these people my stuff and let them think it's under somebody else. But it's me. I'm the producer, but that's me. Those are my lyrics. So good. So it transforms into, it progresses to the time where I think I kind of knew about Kanye a little bit. When you remember when guys were wearing sort of like a full fade, like a tapered fade, curly hair. And this was before, because they kind of previewed the accident, and I think that's going to be next. And but the smaller chain, the polo shirts, the jeans, that whole thing. And so it was nice to see, like I said, Kanye in that mode, very much a hustler doing this thing, but at the same time knowing he was destined for greatness. One thing I can tell you, as I'm watching young Kanye, the only thing that I could see is North and Chicago. Chicago. Those kids are the spitting image of young Kanye and Kanye now. And so as he's talking, I'm like, Lord, that's North. That is North. And so we see that. So he moved to New York. so that he could pursue and try to get on somebody's label. Like I said, we saw braces Kanye. We saw poor Kanye. We saw retainer Kanye. Let me talk about this retainer for a minute. Let's have a little caveat. Let's have a little break. Kanye, young Kanye had braces. I was kind of squinting. I was like, did Kanye have braces? I think he did. He definitely had retainer. And like I said, this is absolutely raw footage. So what I found interesting is Kanye was a typical 19-year-old person that literally, he treated that retainer so grossly. He'd be like, his friend would be filming. He'd be like, hold up. And he'd just take it out of his mouth, put it in his jacket. And I'm like, Kanye, where's the case? Where's the retainer case? Like, what are you doing? He'd be about to rap and he'd just take it off and put it on the table. At one point, the producer who he was rapping for, he said, bro, what's that? What is that? And he was like, that's my retainer. And the guy was just so grossed out by it. So it was, again, very raw footage. It was very just, you got to know Kanye without the pretense, without the mask, without Hollywood. It was just raw, urban, good content. Okay. And you saw his grind. And I have to tell you again, as someone that's not a fan of Kanye, I got to tell him listen, I cannot say that he is not among one of the best, but then also that he wasn't grinding. I said that he was humble. I saw that, like I said, he was humble. The grind, he always dreamed. I'm just going through my notes. He always had a dream. And you saw it all throughout that documentary when he was, and I'm going to talk about him and his mom, because that's going to be a whole segment by itself. So hang on, let's get through this part. He definitely dreamed. He dreamed and talked about, his father's influence, his mother's influence, and how, no, he wasn't out there gangbanging, but he also knew, like, hey, I always wanted to be somebody. We learned about him and his talent shows and how he won the talent shows. It was great. It was absolutely great. Let me read some of the comments. The odd thing about Kanye is this. I'm more interested in the documentary than all his antics. He needs to realize that he is becoming someone who always cries wolf. And that is my point, Ronnie. Like, I agree with you 100%. That was my take when I watched the first one. I'm going to watch the other one tonight, and then I'll do a reaction video to that. But that's what I got. I was like, dude, your greatness is being shadowed by your antics. But I think, as I stated, I think the antics are a direct reflection of mental illness. He is imbalanced somewhere, and it is being shown. But then there's other things that's going on, and I'll talk about that as well. But I agree. Like, I didn't know. I had no idea about when people, oh, he's a genius. And I used to be like, what you mean? I'm not going to say he's genius. He's definitely not a god, as he states in his documentary, but he's good. I never actually reference Ye on any of my podcasts, but of course, on a human level, I do wish him well. Yes. I only reference him because, again, I'm interested in seeing and why some people are celebrating this whole foolishness with him and Kim, or as a lot of people down my timeline are very, very concerned about what's going on. Is this when his mother was still living? Yes. So we have a lot of footage that I'm going to be talking about Donda. And then I'm going to collectively tell you what I think we're seeing and why we're seeing what we're seeing in Kanye right now. Based on someone who's been anxious too, I think I understand how he throws out nonsense to distract from being judged fully. In other words, it's a self-fulfilling quest to shield himself. Yeah, I think it's that. And it's also the fear of losing everything. I think that Kanye worked very hard to be where he's at and to be successful and to have a family. And when, for whatever reason, the wife, the things feel like, oh, they're going to be destroyed or gone, I think that causes him quite anxiety. And I'm not going to even hold you. I'm not even going to lie. Like, that is definitely a symptom of narcissism. Very much so. So, yeah. If you've seen, he constantly does his good and uplifting work behind his nonsense. In other words, You can't really judge his antics if he's doing Sunday service. I can't, because I like Sunday service. I haven't watched a video or whatever. Kanye appears to be all over the place. And to me, that's just someone trying to, and it reminds me of that saying, not everyone that wanders is lost. I don't think he's as lost as we think he is, but he's definitely wandering. I think that he's just trying to find that peace. Peace from what? We'll talk about it in a second. But I'm telling you right now, the loss of his mother hit him like no other. Had to have. And I'll tell you why in a second. Do you think some of it could be from his car accident? Did he have a head injury? You know what, Velma? I didn't even think about that. I did not even think about that. It very well could be that. But we'll get into that in a few minutes. But it very well could be that. That's a good point. I think the turning point when his mom passed, that's it, cousin. I think her presence kept him somewhat grounded. You are absolutely right. That is what I'm going to talk about. That is exactly what I'm going to go into here in a second. And death has that ability to do those things. And I'll talk about that in a second. So he was, I feel like, when you're looking at this first series, this first portion, even when he eventually was signed to Roc Nation, still not Roc Nation, Rockefeller, one of the rocks, very confident, but not arrogant. Yay. Like, you understand? Like, he was not arrogant. Like I said, he got plenty of no's. He was serious about his name. Very serious about his name being, as he was getting, on the air, because he was known for so many years as a producer. That's what blows my mind. Kanye was known for so many years as a producer, like on so many labels and records and everything. And his biggest frustration was, you're going to let me in as a rapper. You're going to acknowledge me as a rapper one way or another. And they eventually did. So Donda is coming out. Donda 2 is coming out, rather. And as I was sitting there about 15, 20 minutes in, I was like, whoa. You know, that meme where the numbers are going, and I had a moment and I was like, is this documentary why, not Donda, but is this documentary why he's been cutting up? And I don't think so. I think what we're seeing, that's not PR. I don't think that's any of that. Like, I think that's him. I'll tell you why. I told y'all he looks like North. I made a whole note about them doggone retainers. That was just bothering me. It triggered me because I'm like, listen, bruh, get your little retainer, a little case. Like, stop. What I found interesting. So I'm gonna say a couple of things that made me say, oh, I get it. Another thing that let me into his mindset, who he is, was one. They were back in New York or New Jersey. Anyway, they were on the street and they passed the newsstand. And the guy was like, Kanye, look, you want to buy one of the magazines? You're on XXL. And he was like, no. He was like, dude, you might have to stop. So he's laughing, Kanye, at that point. He was like, dude, you might want to stop rolling the cameras because I got something to tell you, whatever, And he's laughing. And I already, something, because they're by the magazines and stuff. And he goes, you're going to have to take it off. But listen, so it kind of fades. But he says, listen, I got an addiction. And they show him going up, buying the little girly magazines and whatever. And then they show him showing the friend or whatever. And I was like, I am learning who this dude is more and more. Argue with someone else, do not at me or whatever, but anybody that I know with some sort of addiction to porn or whatever, definitely objectifies women. Point blank, period. Makes sense. So when, let me write that down. So when I saw that part, I was like, oh, that's controlling, yay. That's woman to woman, yay. Very interesting. So this is the good part. I think the term, okay. So this is the good part. At some point, a few times, he went back home to visit his mom. And so overall, in all the clips, when you see Miss Donda, y'all, their relation, they were like this. They were close. Not in a crazy mama's boy kind of way. He was a mama's boy, I would say. But when I tell you they were just close. And if you're a boy mom, you close with your kids. You don't even have to be a boy mom. They were close. Dabbing with your mom close. They weren't not only close, but I got to tell you, she was his number one fan. They just had a banter that was just, I was just smiling the entire time. But then I was like, dang, that's what did it. That's what did it. He would come home and she'd, the camera, his friend was there and, hey, this is my mom, whatever. And she was just so proud of him. And this was in the process of when he was making his first album and he hadn't named it yet. And they're talking back and forth about, well, what you going to name it? I don't know. And then she was like, well, make sure you put this rap on there. And he's like, what rap? Remember when? And she started rapping the rap and it was just so cute. But also it was telling. I'm not going to, without giving away anything else, they were super, super close. But then she dropped gems as they were sitting. There was a long time where they showed his mom. His mom grounded him and made sure every time he came home that she said something to keep him grounded. And one thing that she told him, she was like, listen, when giants look in the mirror, they don't see nothing. Everyone else sees a giant, but you need to make sure. Because how she started off, she was like, listen, make sure you don't come off as arrogant. You don't ever want to come off as arrogant. Confidence is good. And he's asking her, well, what do you mean? Do I come off as arrogant? And she was like, no, I'm not saying that. But as you're growing, because this is exciting, Kanye, because he was about to be a featured breakout on MTV. So long story short, I'm going to let y'all go watch it. And then y'all come back and comment. You just had a window into their relationship. And so it brings us to the point of who we see now. I think it's a accumulation of a bunch of things. It could be that accident. It very well could be that accident. But a lot of things I saw back then. I think that point blank, when his mom passed away, it broke him to his core. But not only did it break him to his core, but I also think she was the stabilizer in his life. And so when you don't have someone in your corner to say, sit your tail down somewhere, you ain't all that, go take out that trash or whatever, you become big head Kanye. You become arrogant Kanye. And so Kanye is out of balance right now. Kanye doesn't have anyone that has replaced his mother in his life. And when I say his mother, someone that can pull his coat chain and bring him back to South Side of Chicago. All he is right now is an imbalance of Hollywood. That's just my take. He, let me see. Like I said, it's a lot of good footage. And when you go and watch it, you'll be able to see, because it is raw footage. You're like, that's Kanye. So what happened? And I hope we'll be able to see through the footage. I don't want to see, obviously the bad part with his mom passing away, but I bet we could definitely see a defining moment of when his mom passed away. And when unbalanced crazy Kanye happened. Because he was once very humble. And he said, let me see, this was the last thing. He said, so right before the accident happened, as the accident happened, he said, this is how it ended. So that's why I think the next part is going to be about the accident. He said, I feel like the accident was God saying, I'm about to hand you the world, just so you know, at any given time, I can take it from you. And I was just like, whoa, humble Kanye. And so we don't see that now. But you can kind of see it in his frantic antics. But I do believe, as Talaya said, absolutely the turning point was when his mom left him tragically. He didn't get to say goodbye. There was no closure. There was no, okay, and then there's no one else to come in to keep him grounded. That can mess you up. And they were so close, y'all. They were so close. Closer than we thought they were. The footage really shows you their relationship. Right? Exactly. I can see that he needs that balance. Yes, he's just unbalanced, y'all. I think that's what it is. And I know, like I said, I give Kanye a hard time. Just because how he's doing this thing with Kim and his reaction. But I think what we're seeing is frantic Kanye. I don't know why I'm saying how he rap, you know, but anyway, I think we're seeing anxiety Kanye. We're seeing frantic Kanye. If Kim leaves me, I'm not going to have anything or anyone, Kanye. That's what we're seeing. He's panicking. He doesn't have anyone. I saw the relationship between him and Jay-Z. Jay-Z, we see in the footage, Jay-Z was like a big brother to him. And then for him not to have, listen, you ever hear people who said, you know what, I feel like everyone gets taken away from me or leaves me. That's who we're dealing with right now, I believe, in my opinion. And so it makes me not, I wasn't laughing before because I don't think any of his antics are funny, but it makes me really, really, really have compassion for him even now. So Kanye needs somebody in his life to be that balance. He needs something in his life to ground him. I think he's messed up with Kim. Kim's done. Because again, if you're dealing with someone with that type of addiction, and we've all seen him with these women, he objectifies them one by one until he's done with them. It's just my opinion. So I think I smiled throughout the whole thing. I rewound it a little bit to see what this one said. I smiled looking at the outfits, and just it was interesting to see young Kanye and then the Kanye when he came out in public. And I was like, oh, that's when I remember Kanye. But Kanye was on the scene for a very long time. It showed young Pharrell, young Beyonce, young what's her name? Not Yo-Yo, but the Brat. Like everybody was on there. But it just shows you the rooms that Kanye was walking in back in the day. And think about it now. It doesn't seem like any of those people have his back right now. I can see why he's the way he is. He needs a real woman. Kim isn't it. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know who would be it, but it was very interesting. So make sure you guys go check that out. I thought that let's see. Yep, that's all my notes. I think it's worth the watch. I think it gives you, if you're watching with your third eye, so to speak, you'll be able to see like, dang, as you're watching it, you can see what Kanye is going through now and why he's going through. Kanye is having the biggest panic attack right now over social media because everything, and he literally, when I think about all the people that's in that video that was with him in the beginning, none of those people are around now. Jay-Z barely want to deal with them. Barely. So I appreciate the documentary because it gave me a slightly different perspective. He needs to leave Kim alone, but that ain't what we're talking about today. It was very good. Now I'm questioning, I was questioning, okay, was all the antics so that he knew that this documentary was coming out? I don't think so. I think the antics is just a byproduct of who Kanye is. Point blank, period. Now, before we transition into Big Brother, let me hit you with this commercial. If you're liking my channel, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Right now, do it. Right now, do it. So yes, just as the little commercial said, listen, if you like what you see on my channel, you're new here, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe. Do all that wonderful stuff that the loud content creators do. I don't do all that. PM and all that. No. Subscribe, like, share, and let's transition into Big Brother. Again, welcome. I am Melissa Berrien, your host of Real Talk with Melissa Berrien. This is not my normal Thursday night show. I normally do breaking news, trending topics, But I decided to put a little break in it tonight. And because I feel like the Ukraine stuff is getting redundant, the Trumps are being redundant. Listen, man, that's not gonna go anywhere. What I'm gonna talk about is Big Brother, celebrity Big Brother. That's next. I enjoy the channel and I'm learning so much within my own channel. Oh, thank you. I actually was watching your channel because you dropped a video, Ronnie, and I was watching that. So yeah, thank you for your support. And just know that I definitely am returning the support as well. Listen, so make sure, like I said, you like this video, share if you think, all that wonderful stuff. Anyway, Big Brother, y'all. Another episode obviously has come out. What is it? Episode 9, 10 of this season. Todd Bridges decided to wake up and play. And did he play? He played so much. Long story short, Todd is the new HOA. I guess I should have said, I should have scrolled spoilers because I'm giving spoilers away. Like I'm not, with the Kanye thing, I didn't want to give out too much because like I said, go watch it. So we did a recap as the episode started. We get a recap of how Todrick played the entire house, him and Misha. Long story short, Cynthia Bailey. Let me see if I can find my branding. Cynthia Bailey. Nope, that's not it we talked about. Wendy Big Brother. There it is. Lemmy showed up a little bit today too now. All right. So Big Brother. We talked about how these two were the masterminds to get the one on the far left, I don't know, right, whatever, the far end of this side, to get her out last week. Basically, what they did is they convinced Cynthia and Carson that she was their enemy, which she was not. But it saved the day. They are still in the house. And if you watch Big Brother, the problem with that move is, y'all know I point wrong. Misha is the biggest threat. And it always amazes me how nobody goes after the person that wins HOH like 3 times in a row. When you get a chance, you get that child, you get her out of. No, they didn't. So we get a recap of how Todrick ran the house. Now, here's the thing that I didn't know. Pause. My son was telling me, like, Todrick is YouTube royalty, like old YouTube. I didn't know him. I didn't know him at all. He allegedly was on, because I was like, okay, how is he on here? And I knew he was a YouTube star, but I thought it was a new 10, 15 years. My son was like, no, I was watching Todrick in high school. What? So yes, Todrick knows how to play the game, because if he was in YouTube streets he'd been out of school for a minute. And so yeah, fast forward to after they did the recap, Shauna's out the house. So one thing she said as she was leaving the house, she was like, listen, I'm going to tell everyone not to vote for you when I get to the jury house. And I was like, and of course, Carson and Cynthia clearly have never played this game. Have watched this show, clearly, because they're playing it. I would hope that if I got on Big Brother or Survivor that I could play with integrity, but I also know lying is a part of the game. You have to, at some point, backstabbing or whatever. These people are playing with their emotions on their sleeves. They're playing like they're actually friends. At some point, Carson is probably going to have to turn on Cynthia, and it's going to break their heart. And I'm like, bruh, it's a part of the game. Well, fast forward. It's time to do the HOA competition. This one was cute. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you liked the HOA competition, HOH competition, the HOH competition this season, yesterday. I think it was really cute. It was ingenious and it was hard. And so basically, y'all, again, spoilers, they told you 4 ingredients, but they left 1 ingredient out. And they had to sip it to figure out what was in it. And when I tell you, Todd Bridges, pretty much up until this point, slept throughout the game, or talked trash, or just really didn't care, or needed the game explained to him. He blew them out the box. Misha was terrible at it. All of them was terrible. Them two was terrible at it. Todrick couldn't even drink anything for gagging. Where he at? There you go. He couldn't even drink anything for and all that stuff. It was such a good competition, especially for those of us that have watched Big Brother throughout the years. We're like, oh my goodness, it's fresh, something fresh. We're tired of seeing them getting sprayed and leaning over and leaning back. Like, give us something different. So that was great. I like the set design. Lamar tried to wake up a little bit, but it boom, 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 boom. No. Who ended up being HOH? Todd woke up. And once again, this group is trusting. Let me point the right way. These two. You cannot trust these. There you go. You cannot trust these two. But why are they trusting them? Misha and Todrick have not talked to Todd as far as game strategy. None of these weeks, the entire time. He gets HOH and they decide, you know what? Here's an idea. Let's not try to win HOH. Let's not try to do any of these things. Let him do our dirty work for us. Genius. That's how the game is played. And guess what? Todd can't see it coming, and he just following along with their master plan to get rid of Carson. Now, let me see what you guys say. This is good, Big Brother cast, and although I'm not caught up on all the episodes, I'm loving this season. I wish, however, that CBS would stick to a schedule. I feel, and you know what? That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like the schedule has changed this season. When I thought it was coming on, it wasn't. Like, it's weird to me, but I'm gonna find it. Yes, oh my God, Todd is HOH. That's funny. Listen, because he's the one that really, really don't care. Like, it's almost as bad as if Lamar got HOH. Okay. He's someone else, kind of like what I was saying with Kanye. And I told you guys this before. I didn't really know Lamar up until this point, but I'm like Lamar, listen, here's what he did, y'all. I forgot to tell you. Typically, when someone gets voted out, they sit around and they're like, whoo, that was hard. And they watch the picture go gray. But you don't say how you wanted to vote, how you vote. Like, people just kind of figure out, like, and in this instance, it was unanimous. Child, in an unprecedented move, Lamar leans over and goes, I wanted to vote you out, Misha. Still on them nails. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the video the other day. Still biting them nails, talking about, I wanted to bite you, vote you out, Misha. Misha said, what did you just say? I wanted to vote you out. Basically, he was like, I didn't have beef with her, but I went with the house. He said, but I wanted to vote you out. Now, here's the thing. If you don't watch Big Brother, the problem with that is Lamar has just made himself a target for Misha. If he just would have kept it quiet, and y'all remember when I was saying last week, a couple of days ago, rather, when we were laughing at Lamar and biting his nails and stuff, remember I said he didn't want to vote that way and he was nervous? That baby thought that vote almost took him out. Remember I said that? Ding, ding, your girl was right. Yeah, he did not want to vote for Shayna. And he told her, geez, I hate this. He told her, he said, listen, I wanted to vote you out. So now she's sitting on the couch looking like Boo Boo the Fool. And then she was like, let me get up before I say something. And I wanted to say, no, say it. Say whatever you was going to say, because you know you're not going to say anything to Lamar. Lamar is a fan favorite. Lamar is a house favorite. Lamar is probably going to float to the absolute end. Leave a comment down below. Who are your predictions for the final two? Todrick and Lamar. Todrick and Lamar. Todrick and Lamar, or Lamar, they're gunning for Carson, so I can't even say. Todrick and Lamar. I think so. I really do. Melissa, would you ever audition to be a guest in the house? Yes. Absolutely, hands down. And I'm going to tell you what my strategy would be. My strategy would be, I'm going to be the cook, the clean. I'm going to be the mom. And I'm going to kind of play Lamar too. I'm not going to tell them that I know the game. Because you can't act like you know the game. You got to act crazy. You know, like, oh, Vito, what's that? And then wait. And then I get to take somebody down. Like, what do I do? Because they immediately think of you as a threat if you know the game. So no, I would act like I don't know the game. And I would sort of be like I said, the mother figure. Like I'd be friends with everybody. Be friends with everybody. But the problem with Todrick being friends with everybody, because I think Todrick is one that's friends with everyone. And I also think Carson is someone that's sort of friends with everyone. I think the problem is they formed alliances super, like really quickly. I would have said on the first day, let me think about it. Oh, we just got here. I got a headache. Like I would have thought of anything. And then let's talk about it later. That's what I would have did. They formed alliances too quickly. I love Cynthia on The Housewives and hope she goes far in Big Brother. People don't give her enough credit. I'm not giving her credit, Ryan. I don't see it. I don't see it. She is floating, and floaters sometimes get by really far. But she's not playing. I like, because I like Survivor, I like Big Brother, I like Amazing Race. I don't like floaters. I want people to come in to the competition and compete. And she's just not giving to me. She doesn't give on the Housewives to me either. Not even gonna lie to you. But she's a nice person, pretty face, nice person. But I think she's so easily swayed, and she don't have a mean bone in her body. Bless her heart. Todrick is being deceitful and backstabber. Oh my God, shocker. Yes, Ronnie, that's what my son said. He said, no, he has a history of being problematic. This is who he is. So I took to Twitter, and sure enough, Twitter was like, oh, wow, thank you, big brother. You're letting us know that Todrick is exactly who we said Todrick was, and no one wanted to believe us. So yes, that is one of the reasons why I'm like, it's very likely, unless in the last week, everybody realized they all have been being played by Todrick, he's going to win. I don't even know who Todrick is. I didn't either, and up to this day. He is talented, though, so let me stop. Yes, my son did say that. He said he could sing. I think I saw him in drag, and I think he was on Broadway or whatever. So, and he can dress. Like, when it's time to dress up, he listen, he brings it to me. Cynthia is still an airhead and doesn't have a clue. Not one clue. Not one clue. She's in over her head. And she is the type of player that's going to have to ride the coattail of someone else. And unfortunately, those are not the type of players that win Survivor and Big Brother. Coattail riders. But again, me personally, I'm with Lamar. I would have been with Lamar. Like, dude, why are we not getting Misha out this house? She is the biggest threat in this house, and they kept her. It's weird. My two favorites are Carson and Cynthia. I love Carson. Carson is someone else that I've just seen here and there. I've never watched a Carson reality television or anything that talked about him or his life. Wherever we've seen him publicly, that's where I know about him. But the way he just sashays through that house, and I mean that with love, I love it. I've taken a liking to them. They have a genuine, what's the word? Alliance. But I don't think it's going to work for them. I really don't. I just don't. Because they're playing it with too much integrity. Like, too much. You got to expect the unexpected, and you can't trust any of them. Because they're not even thinking at some point, I'm going to have to put you up. At some point, we're going to have to compete against each other. They're not even thinking like that, which is a problem. Like, you don't even see Carson in the shower going, oh, one day I'm going to have to put her up. No. So maybe they'll win because it's a strong alliance that they're like, no. But y'all are sleeping on Todd. We're sleeping on Lamar, and we're sleeping on Todrick. Because if these people are smart, Misha will be next. Forget Carson. Carson will win as fan favorite and as the house favorite. Get rid of Misha. Get rid of her. I'm telling you. Shout out to my stubbies. I'm letting my nails air out a little bit, and then I'm going to put my nails back on. The competition was good. Yes. My favorites are Carson, Cynthia, but Cynthia, I just don't know. Exactly, Velma. They are my favorite. I like Cynthia, but I like Lamar too. But as far as winning, deserving, I'm going to say either one of these two. Because they're playing. Winning overall, Todrick. Because he's got all of them fooled. He cracks me up. Oh, my God. And then he goes and gives him a hug. I'm like, Todrick, you dirty. I just don't know. Now, fast forward to the part of the HOH competition where Lamar and Todrick that are now joined together. I was like, of all people Todd could pick, of course he didn't know. So anyway, as part of the HOH competition, you have these drinks, and so what it was called was advertising or marketing. And so they were like, pick two people that's going to help you with your marketing. So in Big Brother, Expect the Unexpected, here they are dressed up as Todd's drinks, but they're connected. They have to eat together, sleep together. And again, these are two people on completely opposite sides of the house. So what I'm thinking is, how are they going to strategize for gameplay? Lamar's going to stand there and be quiet and act stupid. Lamar is not dumb. He's not dumb. He's not dumb. And then Todrick is going to do what he normally does and try to play everybody. But what my concern was, no one's going to be able to strategize with their actual alliances. I don't even know. So what's going to happen this week? I don't even know. You think it will Todrick and Lamar? Could be. Because they're both playing very slick games. Lamar is playing like, if he knows the game, he's an actor to the core, because he's so freaking ditzy. He needs all the competition explained to him every time or whatever. So Lamar is getting us like that. Lamar's also getting them with the sympathy. You can't vote the guy out that's lovesick. You can't vote the guy out that misses the girlfriend and been through all. You can't vote the guy out that overdid and all of that. You can't. No. So he's getting all type of sympathy. He's getting all that. And then you have Todrick, who's just playing a very nasty, dirty game. And we already know those type of people win all the time. But the other thing is, if they don't get Misha out, this is going to be Misha's game to win. And I don't understand why they don't. They are currently casting now, and let me tell you, I came with the heat on my casting tape. I just sent it yesterday. Didn't know that. Wow. I might consider it. Let me go see. I would get rid of Todrick. He's sneaky, but they don't know he's sneaky. They don't know he's sneaky. I would get rid of Todrick because, unlike Cynthia and Carson, you're not going to be able to convince me so easily. He was so slick with it. And so convincing. So I don't know. Cynthia is an airhead. She is, bless her heart. She's such an airhead, but she's so sweet. Exactly. She's nice, nasty, like Nene said. Absolutely. Todrick had a show called Straight Out of Oz about his youth. And even though I don't like Todrick's antics, his art is very, very good. That's what my son said. Again, I had no idea who this cat was when it first started. And even since I've been watching it, I didn't know. I was like, okay. But once I got to Twitter and they were like, oh yeah, he's toxic. And so I was like, oh, so this is right up Todrick's alley. Apparently so. I would get rid of Todrick. Yeah, a lot of people say get rid of Todrick, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't know that they need to get rid of Todrick. Cynthia and Lamar, that would be funny. Oh, geez. So Lamar's going to win. And that's the thing that I think that the house is forgetting. They're forgetting, they're so focused on Carson that they're forgetting about Lamar. Everyone loved Lamar. You got to get the person, like, honestly, they should have kept Shayna because nobody was going to vote Shayna against a Todrick. Todrick would win. You got to bring the final two. I like when the final two is obvious. I don't want to be biting my nails going, oh my goodness. Okay. Todrick or Lamar? Lamar or Todd? I don't know. But Todd is waking up because the way he just played this, I mean, he got all 5 drinks correct. 5 points, boom. It was nice to see Todd's family. I didn't know if he had children. He showed us the children, the HOH room. That was really, really nice. I'm looking forward to the veto competition to see what happens. Todd put up Carson, and Lamar put himself up as what's the word? Pawn. Now, you know, with Big Brother Survivor, you don't put yourself up as pawn. You never volunteered to be tribute. I volunteered. No, do not volunteer to be tribute. But it worked out last week. So I'm hoping that it works out this week. But again, it's so cute to see Cynthia and Carson thinking that they have this master plan of, oh, I got to win the veto, because if I win the veto, I'm going to take you down. And then he has to put someone else up. And then the question then becomes, who does he put up against Lamar? And who the heck is, so who would you put up? If that's the scenario that happens, who would you put up against Lamar to ensure that Lamar stays? So Cynthia won. Misha. I'd put up Misha. If Cynthia wins veto, takes Carson down, I'd put up either Misha or Todrick against Lamar. No one's going to vote out Lamar. But those two are so cunning. They're going to be like campaigning all week. So what did I put? So we talked about that. Yeah. It's just very funny because this season, these people are celebrities, but they're also people that clearly have not watched this game. And so in them not watching the game, it's raw. It's like, oh, what does HOH mean? And what do I got to do? And so I'm like, okay, is Lamar serious? Like, does he really not know? He had to have watched one episode, but I don't know. Anyway, y'all, that's my hour. I can't believe it. That's my hour. Thank you guys for tuning in. Leave a comment down below. Y'all already know what we do. Down in the comment section, replay gang. Those of you that are here now, we can keep this conversation going in the comment section. Y'all know I'll be right there. Be there or be square. In the meantime, I will be back tomorrow with another live. Let's go with the hello. I need to make one that says goodbye, not hello. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow with another sipping and just saying, where well, you know what? Let me play this video. I haven't played it in a minute. So I don't have to tell you that we're living a very fast-paced life. Sometimes we barely have enough time to even eat a balanced meal. Well, here's the thing. I created a space for adults to wind down. Essentially, it's a virtual happy hour called Sippin' and Just Saying. That's right, a place where we get to wind down. We laugh, joke, we clown each other, and we just share just a relaxed time with one another. So kick up your heels. Come on in with your favorite drink or beverage, and let's have a laugh together. Oh, and did I mention no serious topics are allowed? See you soon. See you soon. So that's Sipping and Just Saying. That is normally a show that I do with Lauren Melissa. Shout out to her. It's her birthday week. She's off the grid. So tomorrow, do you use StreamYard? I use StreamYard. So tomorrow she will not be joining me, but I'm trying to listen. I should put her on the spot right now. I'm trying to get my cousin to join me. Okay. And we just sip and just talk about stuff. But I got to text her. I just put her on blast if she's still here in the chat. But anyway, yes, Ronnie, I use StreamYard. Simple, ease of use for me. I don't have time for it. So anyway, yeah, my friends, I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to just sip and just saying. And if there's something that you really want to talk about, drop it in the comment section. And I'll be back with you guys. She's laughing. I'll be back with you guys with another reaction video when I watch the second one. And of course, when we find out who wins the veto on Big Brother. But in the meantime, make sure you tune in tomorrow for Sipping and Just Saying. And as I always say, make sure you're kind to people just for the heck of it, because we just never know what people are going through. And as a result, sometimes you want to, actually do that. Go ahead and do it, but then dip out. Like, don't stand in the negativity. All right, that's it. I'll check y'all out tomorrow. Peace.